Hey Skyfarers, and welcome to Aethercast, the Kharadron Overlords podcast. I'm Lee, the Arcanet Admiral, on the helm of the good ship Aethercast today, and crewing the ship, we have on the gun deck our gunnery sergeant and thunderer from down under, Mr. Alexander Krohn.
Hey, good to be back.
How are you, Krohn?
Good. Surviving lockdown.
Yeah, back in lockdown, just like most of us. How did you get on
finally got it.
How did you get on with Barak Nar?
Yeah, so that had the event last weekend. Just a small one. Played 3 games, won 2 of them. It's basically Barak Nar can. It's a different. I basically played it as a different type of Alpha Strike. Instead of all shooting, it's half shooting and then half finishing them off in combat, which worked really well against giants and against what did I play? Well, I know I lost to Slaves of Darkness. And it was able to kill 1 Mega Gargant a turn, which was enough.
Well, that's pretty good.
Sounds right.
Yeah. And there was a squad of 3 mini Gargants. Alright, well, now I'm totally blanking what I actually played in my second game.
But it did the damage.
It did the damage, so they come in, they shoot, and that list still has plenty of shooting ability. I used Max's list from the last Barak Nar video. Not Max's, sorry.
Was about to say I wasn't even on the show.
We should explain. Krohn's just woken up.
I'll take full credit.
Yep, it's all Max's idea. Yeah. I used Adeptus' list from the last one, which was using the Cogs, Chemists, and Enderman Master, then 2 squads of Skywardens, 1 squad of Riggers, squad of 20 Arcanauts, and then a frigate with 10 Thunders in it and 2 gun haulers, making an escort wing.
Yeah. And it was the bound Cogs as well, isn't it?
The bound Cogs specifically. Yeah. So yeah, they came in, still a lot of firepower, and then 6 Wardens charging with Zon is actually pretty nasty. Scoring that many dice on 3s and 2s with Ren 1, it does stuff.
Cool. And obviously with Escort Wing, you got the reroll 1s as well to help in shooting. So
yeah, you're just picking an enemy unit, killing the enemy unit.
Yeah, cool. Do you think you'll carry on with that, or try something new for when lockdown ends?
Well, it was definitely fun to play. I don't think it didn't seem like it was. So that my first game against Slaves of Darkness was against one of the top players in our meta, and it didn't really work against him. It didn't do enough. So I don't think it's gonna. I don't think that's a viable list for the top tables.
Okay.
But we'll see. Maybe I just need more practice with it.
Maybe. Well, if you like a more melee element, then you should watch last week's shows that you couldn't be part of, because in that we had a Brock Grunson list, and someone on the show today has been trying that out recently, Mr. Kyle Callip.
Yep.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm getting ready for my next game too. But yeah, I'm playing that Brock list that we voted, that won the vote on the Facebook. Won the first game against some Deepkin. He was really pushing that 2-up save unrendable, but unfortunately 2-up saves don't save you from 20 mortal wounds as an ironclad and a dude in a balloon crash into you drop bombs and then smack you in the face with a hammer that does 3 mortal wounds right off the bat. So yeah, cracked that turtle, and then eels died horribly, and then Brock even killed Volturnus or whatever his name is, the eel on the king. Sorry, the king on the eel. So yeah,
The eel and the king.
eel on the king. Yeah, either
That's
one.
a nice
It's the same
image.
thing, you know.
Nice
Anyway,
image.
so that went well. My next game is up against a bunch of ogres. So we're looking at 20 iron guts and 12 gluttons in this like butcher-centered list. In that list, it's going to be tough because I can't kill anything on the alpha because it's 140 wounds. And when they slap back, it's going to hurt. We're both 3 drops, so I think it's going to come down to whoever wins the roll-off needs to play spicy around getting double turned. But yeah, that's going to happen after this. If anyone wants to watch, I'll put a link somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So will that be in Discord somewhere?
Yeah, I'll put a Discord link probably. The stream will be on Discord.
Cool.
And because you used to play a Barak Zon list, which we talked about in the Barak Zon show, so how have you found that compared to the Barak Zon list you did? Because it was similar.
It's very similar. The nice thing is that I actually have CP, which is very weird. And when I used that Barak Zon list the first time, I abused the Aether Gold to get extra CP in order to do volley fire and to reroll saves when I needed to. But I can't do that anymore because you can't use Aether Gold on heroes the same way. Meanwhile, in Nar, you get the CP at the start, which was surprisingly useful. Same with that 24-inch bubble for Brock. Rerolling the charge actually covers the entire table. I really, you don't really think about it until you put him in the center, and you got arcs on the other side of the board that are able to get the reroll charge, and you're just like, holy crap!
It's just 2/3 of the board, basically.
Yeah, it's really big. So Brock's not bad. Now that said, I really felt like I was playing without an allegiance ability because the battle shock was all useless. The hero trait was useless. And then not having a dispel might be bad. Not having a guaranteed dispel might be bad. The guy I played against didn't cast spells, so the footnote and the none of that was useful. And then I wasn't using thunder, so that wasn't useful. It's just but Ancient Riggers having 12-inch guns means you can shoot all 30 shots. That's like having 15 thunders.
Yeah.
In addition to smacking into them when you go under melee. It's not bad. Like the units are good. The sub faction, no, but the units are good.
Yeah. Of course, you can't use the you can't really play the same list because you don't get Brock's ability won't work in another sub faction.
Yeah.
So,
And you can't just bring Skywardens because they're not going to work in Nar. I did run into the issue of almost not getting everyone within 1 inch for the attack. But luckily, my opponent had spread out, so I had able to get 10 riggers around 3 eels just because of how they had spread out. Or actually, it was 6 eels at the time. But it is you realize very quickly how hard it is.
With large bases and 1 inch range.
Yeah, you run out of space really quickly. So I'll probably be missing those 2-inch weapons soon.
Did you find the extra rend helpful?
Yes. You can't really kill 4-up eels without it. But you get 1 less attack, right? So it kind of balances out.
Okay. Well, we'll see how you get on the next game.
Yep.
Hopefully it'll go well.
Hopefully.
And I should introduce the final member of the crew for this voyage. On the poop deck, doing some mopping. He's our cabin boy, Mr. Max Bowman.
Hello. How's everyone doing?
How are you, Max?
I'm better. I had a game today played my standard tournament list against the Night Haunt list. Didn't go well.
Oh no!
No, not sure what I did wrong. And my opponent said I didn't really do much wrong, but everything ignores Rend. Didn't do enough damage, and we played total conquest, and he had heroes everywhere. Was an interesting game. So, but yeah, well, it was good. It was for a campaign we do in the club. So unfortunately, I did not conquer his territory. But tomorrow I'll have my first game against Luminef.
Nice.
So a friend, he finally finished building up his army. He wants to take it for a spin.
How many Sentinels does he have?
I'm not sure. I think he's leaning more into the Wardens and Sentinels and less into the cows and stupid hat people. Because it's mainly built on his old High Elf army. I think he rebased a lot of it. So it'd be interesting to give that old Demon Rift a spin.
That's so mean.
I just need to try it. I've converted one, I've built it, and now I just want to play it.
Not in this first game, dude.
Yes. Shut those elves down,
again.
right from the front. Kick them when they're down. Make sure absolute Duerden dominance is assured. Don't give them ideas. Don't give them ideas, those elf people.
Those elves are nasty, though. They ignore Rend too. They will ignore all your Rend.
The cow people, yeah. If he pays Emetrica.
Yeah.
So I think he's leaning more into Techless and casting and some Dawn Riders and Spear people. I'll see. It'll be fun just to try it out. I mean, he's not very experienced against KO. I'm not so experienced against Luminef, so we'll see what happens. Maybe we play 2 games. If the first one's a quick one. Just reshuffle, try it again. No, be cool. And just like get back in the club, play some games, throw some dice. That's fun.
Cool. Well, good luck.
Thank
good
you.
luck to your friend as well.
Oh, he's an elf. Yeah. No luck.
Wow. He was new to his army. Be nice.
No, he's an old time elf player.
Oh, okay.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if he's, you could forgive someone for going to elves once, but if they keep going back.
Nah, he's the. He actually played at the GTC. He's the guy with the, what was it, 60 Phoenix Guard or 80 Phoenix Guard. So yeah. No.
Yeah, maybe not good luck to them. Okay. Well, let's talk about some of the news.
Yep. News.
So,
there was quite some news.
There's a lot of news because we had a preview today as well. Let's do the KO stuff first. We're getting a Battle Wars box.
Yep. I mean, that's cool. What do you think about the box? The contents.
I don't think I'm going to buy it, but if I was new, then I think it would be good value because you get lots of stuff. I mean, we don't know the price of it yet or when it's coming. So
what's in it? 2 gun hunters, a frigate, Brock, and 6 Skywardens?
Six balloon boys, yeah.
Yeah.
So those are always, apart from Brock, it's useful stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's why it depends on the price. Because
if Brock's a bonus, okay, take him.
Yeah. If it's cheap, like if you get all of that stuff, and it would be good value if you just like said, pretend Brock's not in it, and it's still really good value, then it's great. And then you just get Brock as a bonus. And
yeah, it feels like something to start the army off.
I mean, you can buy
not something to buy to expand your army, because how many gun hunters do you want? Like once you hit 9.
Well, I think. So we have a list here that asks exactly that question. How many gun haulers do you want?
Yeah.
More than 4.
Yeah. I mean, spoiler alert, we haven't got like a full, 12 or 15 gun hauler list, but we've got a lot of gun haulers in lists today.
It's basically an escort wing, isn't it? Like you get some thunderers, and you've got yourself an escort wing with that battle.
Yeah, because you can play them as the frigate.
Yeah,
I can't remember
by the Warcry box, and you're set. You have a small army.
I don't know how they built them on the box, or if they built them as riggers or Skywardens, but obviously it's a dual kit.
Yeah,
so you can do both, and there's Yeah, crossover. If you've already got start collectings, then you're going to be doubling up on gun haulers, aren't you?
Hmm.
But
I do think I still stand by the you get one start collecting box. Sorry, you get two start collecting box, Aether War, and then you can pick up this. Then you'll have, is that 5 frigates? Sorry, that's 5 gun haulers, isn't it?
Yes.
Good amount of gun haulers.
yeah.
You
that-
really want
A couple
4.
too many.
5
Do you?
might, yeah, because you're gonna want 2 cannons and 2 drills. If you don't
magnets.
magnetize, yeah, if you don't,
It's the most easiest gun to magnetize in the entire
really
game.
is.
Yeah.
The first thing
But-
I did.
If you're lazy like me and don't want to get 2 magnets, then you really could just Also, there are some lists where you can run 4 gun haulers. In there, it's a decent list. Anything more than that, though, you might use it as conversion for a base. Build some terrain out of balloons.
Mhm. And Everblaze Comet.
Yeah. Well, if you don't want to get lots of gun haulers, the thing you can do is you can get the new Battle Force box to start collecting and the Warcry set, because that's fairly good value. It's not as good value as the start collecting, but if you don't,
I guess you want some Arcanauts somewhere along the way, like
Yeah.
at least 10.
I think you want 2 engine riggers, though. Engine masters.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
I think just everything else you get in that start collecting box is just so useful for everything you end up doing in this army.
but the
I'm not sure
if you
about
don't
the
want the gun
Endermaster.
hauler, then I think I would have to double check, but I think the pricing difference between the Warcry set and the start collecting is bigger than if you just bought the Engine Master separately.
Hmm.
I think buying a Warcry set and the start collecting, and the Warcry set and then Engine Master separately would be cheaper than getting a start collecting.
Oh, you can find Endermasters on eBay super cheap because they come in
Yeah.
that start collecting box. And this just
That's fair.
But-
so if you're in Germany, you want to have one. Just text me.
I have
Is that for
5
free?
Endron Masters now.
Not for free,
I-
but, for low money.
I want to find some way to use them, all 5.
Or 5.
Oh, party
that
book.
sounds like a
All 5
challenge.
Endron Masters. All
That
5
sounds
Endron
like a
Masters in
party
one
book.
list.
Dude,
That
just put 'em
sounds
in
like a
gun
future
hauler.
show.
Yeah, put them
Just-
in a gun hauler, build a party boat with an admiral.
Yeah.
But that's just
Yep.
4. Where do you take the 5th one? Not sure about that.
No,
Wait,
you see, you
5
take
Endron
Nar.
Masters. 5 Endron Masters and an Admiral inside an ironclad with the ram. Smash.
Yeah.
Activate command ability. Smack, 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 smack.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, I guess.
You could even take a little token chemist with the Taurus. So wherever you charge, fights last.
Oh yeah.
Just to be really.
Although then you'd have 7. You can't have 7 heroes. That's too many heroes. We're running out of heroes.
Yeah.
Who would have thought it in a KO list? Oh dear. But generally, will you guys be getting the Battle Force box, or do you think you'll give it a miss?
Personally, no. I have 2 frigates still in boxes, which I'm not sure if I'm gonna build them. So no.
I have 3 frigates, 5 gun haulers, and 36 balloon boys. I think I'm good.
Yeah.
I stopped counting.
Yeah, this time.
I think I have 4 frigates. I don't
Yeah.
think
I
it's
probably
like a
have
rock.
less stuff than most of you guys, but trouble is I still have a frigate in box unbuilt, so I don't need another one sitting there.
You batch paint them, dude. You just batch paint them.
Patch paint those frigates.
That's what I did. Took a month. I did it.
It took me a month to just do my ironclad. So yeah.
Yeah, that took me 2 years. So
Wow.
Maybe you should be painting while we have these
I
podcasts.
can't concentrate on 2 things at once.
Well,
Hey, the driver. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to
Yeah.
other news.
Yes.
Other news.
Other
We had
news.
some interesting news. Maybe let's start with everyone's favorite Christmas model, the little dwarf with the cake, Jacob Bookmanson, the 11th. He got some Warcry rules in the White Dwarf. So that's cool. If you're into Warcry, you can play him now. He has rules. He'll probably get some rules on the community site for AOS, but not match play legal. He's be like a legend, so you can play with your friends. Then we have the announcement that there will be a Black Library novel, I guess.
Yeah.
For
It's digital only, isn't
KO.
it?
I'm not sure. It's part of the package where you can buy 24 books before Christmas and you get them all, and you save some money, or you can buy them individually. But there's one in there, I think, by Gav Thorpe, I think is the offer. So yeah, looking forward to that because the ones I've read so far, they were cool. Get some more KO background, some story.
It's they're doing like a 12 days of Christmas thing, aren't they? And they've got 40k books and
there's
Horus Heresy and...
six AOS books and 6 40k and some other stuff.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And then maybe also interesting for us as KO players is the Sons of Behemoth FAQ, because that came down to something that lost me a bet and surprised me.
Oh God, yep.
Specifically, what I'm referring to is if the Kraken Eater or Bundle Whalebiter, the mercenary that we can ally into other armies, if he uses his ability to kick an objective, the new position of the objective is relevant for its point scoring.
For things like Border War and Battle of the
Pass, you kick your home objective out of your deployment or out of your territory. Your opponent will not score 4 points for it. Or you can move one of the middle ones towards your enemy's territory and score double on those 4 points. So
That's actually insane.
It's I did not expect that.
No, I wasn't expecting that.
But it's interesting. So that lost me a bet. I'll have to ship some chocolate to Australia. I don't know how I'll do that.
Oh my God.
It'll arrive like melted. But okay.
I mean, in some ways, it's kind of makes sense because you don't have to try and track where objectives used to be.
Yeah, but then we still track them in focal points because they have numbers.
Oh yeah, true.
But there they still remain the same and they score the same. He can just kick them all in the middle, sit on all of them.
One model can only sit on one, but the thing that I ran into is that for melee armies, if you don't have shooting, you can't really outbody them, because if you're using a horde, he'll kill you. If you're using elites, you don't have enough bodies. So it's like this does turn into.
It's interesting. I'll have to think about how to get that Kraken Eater into KO lists.
And this is how Giants are going to win.
I'm not sure.
It's definitely a buff to them. So the whole FAQ was good stuff for them. It clarified stuff. So they actually get the wizard keyword when they use their artifact. They can cast endless spells. They cannot be boxed in by endless spells. They can move over them with the Longshank ability. That's interesting news. And then the final thing we can just shortly touch on is in the most recent White Dwarf, there's what is it? An explanation of terminologies. A glossary, exactly. That's the word. Thank you. A glossary of many terms, which I guess is useful, but it doesn't do much for match play. So it explains what the battlefield is. Okay.
And a base. In case you didn't know what a base was.
I thought we knew what the battlefield and the base was. But what it does explain is that if a unit can cast and or dispel and unbind.
It doesn't actually mention dispel. It only says
not dispel, unbind. They are a wizard. So navigators are wizards. However, it does not give them the wizard keyword. It just says they are wizards. I have no idea what that actually does.
It doesn't do anything that I've found.
It has no effect.
All I will say is, don't get excited if you see something in War Scroll in the app on a War Scroll because it's not, bold and capitals because you think, oh, it's not the keyword, it's just the word wizards, because War Scroll the app is rubbish and it doesn't format things properly. Because I did that very thing earlier and I thought, oh yeah, Demon Rift is going to be great now because you could have 5 navigators in a ship, but it is actually because on the app it doesn't have it in bold and capitals. But it is actually on the proper War Scroll. It's
Yeah.
keyworded.
So yeah, that's
It's just
all
the
I have
legalese,
for
I think.
news.
Yeah.
KO related news. That's what I have.
Yeah.
Could you
We
imagine
won't-
that? That would be insane. If you could just take 5 navigators, drop the be like, okay, here you go. That would be broken. I would stop
Yeah.
playing AOS if you could do that.
Obviously, my mind went straight to the most broken thing.
Well, speaking about
Oh,
broken and liberators, but that's a different show.
Yeah, and also speaking about broken, there is one other thing from the Sons of Behemoth FAQ, which I'm not going to go into the full details of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
Kill the
what?
man crushes first. Is my
No, we're not even that. But basically, the wording. It sounds like they've FAQ'd a designer's note first of all for the Mightier Makes Rightier thing, which is I think that's the first time they've actually given an FAQ for a designer's note. But it basically says that Sons of Behemoth can choose whether to use the battle plan rules or the normal objective rules for battle plans where they don't have, the normal rules. So something like Better Part of Valor or Places of Arcane Power. The problem is it says each time you check an objective. So in theory, they can keep switching
back and forth.
different objectives at different times throughout the game. So you can move your hero on Better Part of Valor, not Better Part of Valor, Place of Arcane Power. You can move your hero on, and they're just going, oh, yeah, I'm going to switch that one objective that you just moved on to. I'm going to switch that one to the number of models.
And then it's my man crushes 10, so you don't control it.
Yeah, and it's stupid, basically.
And then they can just move off
That's
and
not good.
switch it back. And it's
I'm hoping for swift correction or clarification on that at some point. We have the December FAQ coming up, and I think if we don't, then TOs are gonna either avoid those battle plans or they're gonna have to comp it in some way, because it's not even very clear that that's what it's meant to do. It's kind of that's what it's ended up doing.
Yeah.
It's a complete mess, basically.
Stupid.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Well, it's a few people in the chat. MO wants to know if we have a favorite KO book that we'd recommend. I mean, I've only read the 2 paperback ones. I haven't read any of the digital ones. So from that, I would recommend the first one, because the second one follows on from it. So you want to read them in order.
Also,
Yeah,
I enjoyed the first one more than the second one was Prophet's Ruin. And the first one was something of the Iron Dragon.
Overlords, the Iron Dragon.
Overlords. That's a cool one, yeah.
It was really cool. I like the first one. Had some nice twists in it.
Although you get a bit disappointed how small the actual Ironclad model is.
Yeah, the way they describe
it. It should be enormous, like people on the deck fighting. You could hardly fit like three Thunders on your Ironclad model.
Multiple decks, multiple rooms. They have little collapsible helicopters that they use to fly from the Ironclad to the frigate.
They have like a whole
transports
crane that they can lift stuff up through a hole, and very cool.
Oilers.
Hey, Forge World, when's our 2-scale Ironclad coming out?
I feel like if it was any bigger, it'd be impossible to put on the table.
Yeah.
We don't want it to be so what's that Seraphon model? Don't want it to be that size.
It's a Dreadsaurian.
Yeah.
Not meter-long Ironclads. That's what we have to do. That's what we need.
I've seen one on Facebook. Someone built like a
battleship,
huge battleship.
Alex
length of the table.
Burnside or Alec Burnside. I can't remember his name. Something along those lines.
Oh, but it looked fantastic.
It looked that was
a dreadnought-sized ship.
I think he actually built 2 of those.
Did he? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done more than one. He's done his second one more recently.
Very cool.
And also in the chat, Hell's Jumpers says he uses 3 engine masters and an admiral and an Ironclad with a heavy skyhook and the battle ram, and he does basically what we said. And he also has He also has a
That's
navigator.
what I'm talking about.
To
And I bet
reroll
that
charges.
ironclad never dies.
Yeah.
I
And he
never
also,
thought about doing that. It sounds so much fun.
yeah. And he says he has the War Wound and Mask Hailer to pump out command, so he's getting lots of command points. Because the way War Wound works is on a 2+, you get an extra command point at the beginning of your hero phase, and Mask Hailer is you get to use a command ability on the
Once.
Admiral's War Scroll for free once per turn. So I'm guessing
that's good, yeah.
yeah, that must either be in Urbaz or a custom port because
It sounds like Urbaz. I would recommend swapping the War Wound to Grudge Bear, just because if you smack into something and your Admiral's doing 4 damage each, it's so much more fun. You should have enough CP, I think.
Well, when I played with both War Wound and Mask Hailer in the past, I found that both of them together was too much. Like it's for me, it'd be one or the other. Like I think War Wound is good, and Mask Hailer is good, but not. I don't think you need both.
It's a neat combo.
Yeah.
A lot of CP though, fun stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's the news. Caught up with the chat. Should we have a chat about Urbaz?
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
The first
wasn't it?
conventionally competitive port that we're talking about.
Yes.
This one's actually won some events before this.
Yeah. Hell's Jumper says it is in Urbaz. He's doing it, and he's going to try Grudge Bearer. So, cool.
Cool. Let us know how you do.
Yeah. Let us know how you get on. So, before we look at the allegiance abilities, general thoughts on Urbaz?
Probably my favorite one to play in regards to, hey, I've got all the models in KO, and I want to do literally anything. Urbaz is the one where it's like the most collection friendly, because you can field almost any army you want.
Yeah, I'd add on to that and say Urbaz feels like this is your generic cookie cutter Skyport. Yeah, you can put anything in this. It works well. It does what it's supposed to do. There's no weird building around some restrictions or tax and some secret tech that you need to enable to certain stuff to work. It just does it, and it improves our Legion's ability. The gold mechanic makes that better. Cool.
It gives
It's just a solid one. It's a solid Skyport.
Yeah, super solid. It works with a lot of different lists. It will get you results, and I'd also suggest maybe it's a good starting point. If you're starting with KO, just go in Urbaz, try out, and then move on to different ports with more, shenanigans, secret tech.
They're the ones I was originally drawn to. My first KO list I made was all in Urbaz, just because it was 2 weeks after the battle tome had dropped, and it was just all the abilities seemed good and reliable, and I wasn't sure about how to do a Zilfin thing yet. Don't think anyone was at that point. I just went, yep, this gives me lots of gold. Gold gives me rerolls. Sounds good.
Yeah. The other thing was right at the beginning. Everyone was like, "Was Zilfin going to get an FAQ?" And then we did get it eventually, and it went the opposite way to what most people were wondering. But
yeah, we all thought someone was going to get nerfed in the first 2 seconds, but no.
No.
This is a new age.
The other good thing about Urbaz is the fact that, as we've said, the start collecting box and the Aether War gives you gun haulers, which are battle line, which means that you can start off with the cheapest army you can get in KO, which is getting those collecting boxes, will get you a legal army in Urbaz, which is a pretty big deal. And then secondly, because of that, your Sky Riggers are also all conditional battle line when you get the dirigible engine master. which just means you can play Urbaz and have your entire army kind of battle line, which is a big deal, considering usually we struggle with battle line requirement missions.
Yeah. And it's a flexible port because it's the only port where, if you like an admiral, it's the only one where you get access to his command traits, which he's got some good ones. Whereas every other port, you have to take a certain command trait, or most other ports will, give you your first artifact as well. The tax here is the engine work.
Well, let's
Breath of
maybe
Morgan.
look at the rules.
Yeah. So because we sort of mentioned some of them. A nice obvious one, gun haulers a battle line, which is good, great. Can't go wrong there.
Awesome unit, now even better.
Yeah. 130 points, it can fly high and teleport over the board. I mean, what can you
Even
not
with
like?
9 wounds suffered, that's the most important part.
Doesn't degrade.
Does not
Doesn't
degrade. It
crack
can
Absolutely
always
insane.
jump around, harass. The guns don't degrade. The movement doesn't degrade.
Should count
130
as 2
points.
models,
And now,
but-
like, I always want to have 1 in my list minimum, so that's already 1 battle line. Cool.
What were
No
you just saying,
downside.
Carl? It should
I was
count
saying it should count as 2 models. Honestly, there's 2 dwarves on there.
Oh, if you want to do that, then the Ironclad should count as more, and so should the frigate, because
Yeah.
I agree. It should.
yeah.
Every other like big monster themed army, like ogres count as 2.
Ogres and giants.
Ogres
Yeah.
on top of things count as 10. It's like we got this
Yeah,
massive
but that's their
ironclad.
special thing.
Yeah.
Let's leave that to them.
Oh, yeah. If you
Yeah,
go down
tools
that
don't
route,
get it.
then you got to go like Bastillodons count as
Yeah.
more, and everything else. Everything that has a mount, then is 2 models. Well, it depends if you count the mount or just the.
I wouldn't mind
The
because
things.
they're already beating me on objectives. So
Yeah.
let's go on. Let's get to the
Yeah.
abilities.
Yeah, let's look at the right. So the first one is basically you don't subtract 1 from the bravery characteristic of an Urbaz unit after they spend the gold share. So
Okay.
it's not major, but
I actually find this is huge personally, because I usually have something. It doesn't matter when you have 3 guys. When you have 6 and you spend an Aether gold, you could lose 3 guys and the last guy will run. We don't actually have amazing bravery if you think about it. What the fuck called? The Arcanaut have 6,
Yeah.
bravery 6.
Oh yeah.
In
Yeah.
other armies, you drop down to 5. Once you pop that Aether gold to reroll the saves. Usually, they all die, but it can be huge, especially if you're taking a group of 12 Skywarden, because they will battle shock. It happens a lot.
But the big thing about it with Urbaz, we haven't really mentioned the rule yet, but you will be using gold more than once, potentially on units. So the fact that you're not subtracting 1 for bravery in Urbaz is really good.
Because then you'd need to just subtract 2 or 3.
Yeah. So it's more. This is more useful in Urbaz than it would be in potentially another Skyport.
It didn't occur to me. So if you're using Runa Mark in a different Skyport and you use Aether gold twice, do you lose 2 bravery?
Yeah, every time you spend an Aether gold.
Oh
you
my
get
god.
minus. So if you use the wealthy trait on your
It doesn't
admiral,
matter, but yeah.
you just go down -2, -3. Yeah.
Yeah. Each time. Yeah.
That's why this is actually important.
Yeah, it's important. Pretty important in Urbaz.
It's good that they did that, because if not, I'm not
You'd be
sure.
running
if
away all the
just
time.
Run Urbaz, because cool. I'll get all the rerolls, and then 5 people run. So
I mean, you could take some way to be Battleshock immune, but
Iron Sky Command, Battleshock immune. Take an Admiral, Battleshock immune. There's ways.
And Sky Command is very good for that.
Yeah, that's why I
I usually
leave.
don't run Iron Sky in.
Yeah, I
Urbaz,
thought so, because
so-
you said you're trouble about Battle Shock,
Yeah.
and I never care about it because yeah, and I'm immune anyway.
Wow.
18-inch around the Ironclad, that's a huge area.
Yeah. Well, because of Gunhaulers being battle line, then it ends up being very escort wing friendly,
Yes.
doesn't it? So that's kind of often your go-to battalion for Urbaz. The next
Oh, yeah.
ability is you can re-roll battle shock tests for friendly Barak Urbaz units while they're wholly within your opponent's territory. So, I mean,
Okay. I mean,
This is
That's
good
all
for
right.
the small 6-man units that hop on a gun hauler and go to the other side,
Mhm.
because Skyriggers don't have automatic reroll battle shock unlike the other two units.
Mhm.
mhm.
So when you have 6 guys, you lose 3. Now you're in danger of actually having people run. The battle shock is the reroll is nice.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
what that's there for.
It's just
Yeah.
enemy territory, because so there are some battle plans where the territories are rather small.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Its value is very much dependent on that, because if you do it in Total Conquest, where it's just that small little box,
Yep.
Yeah.
but some battle plans is literally the whole half the map, isn't it?
Yep.
And then others it's just like the 12 inches on their side of the map
Or
rather
1/3,
than the
yeah.
whole half. So
Shifting objectives is just that little stripe.
yeah, it changes a lot. You've got to be
Huh.
aware of that. But don't get confused about that being your opponent's deployment area, because a lot of battle plans is the territory is literally half the map, but then they only get to deploy 12
Yep.
inches or 9 inches away. The territory, but the territory is actually the half. The next, yeah. I mean, is there anything else about that? I mean, it's okay. It's not
It's not bad.
It's not a selling point. You're
And
not going to take
that's-
Urbaz for this.
No. Yeah. I
no,
agree.
but it's
I
not
enjoy
bad.
it though. Yeah.
We've seen some sub-factions where they actually have bad rules, so it's a
Yeah.
plus in a way.
It's not bad.
it's
It's
not bad, so it
not
compares
going over.
positive.
Yeah.
This is
It's not
the
the
sort of
third
one-
source of battle shock immune in this.
It's the sort of one you could forget about as well if you're playing Urbaz, because it's not one of the reasons why you take Urbaz. It wouldn't be surprising if you forgot about it. So it's worth trying to remember. Oh yeah, I've got that ability.
Just write a little cheat sheet.
Yeah.
So moving on to the next ability, which is probably the main one for Urbaz, which is you get to pick up to D3 friendly units, and each of those starts a battle with 1 share of Aether Gold extra compared to what they normally get.
Yes,
lot of
and
dice.
this is great because you can give gold to units who are not eligible for gold. You can give a 6-man rigger unit a share of gold that they usually never get.
Yeah.
But you can also give an ironclad 2 shares of gold.
Yep.
That's
You mean including the one it normally gets?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Because what I didn't say when I read that was it's different friendly units, so you can't give all D3 to the same unit.
Yes.
No, you can't have an ironclad with 5 shares of gold, but you can have but 2 is enough. 2 is honestly enough.
You actually can if you use the Rune of Mark and then
You
generate
go up
more
to
gold.
3.
So
I don't know if you can get up to 5, but you can get
no,
up
you can
to,
get up to 3. I think 3 is the maximum.
You get up to 3.
You can get hero up to 4.
Yes.
No, you can get a hero up to 5.
So Wealthy, he has 2 shares. Urbaz, he gets a 3rd one. Rune of Mark, he gets a 4th one. Where does he get the 5th one from?
The footnote.
If the footnote,
if they
charge
fight. If they fight. Well,
Oh, yes.
thanks for that excellent segue. Let's move on to the footnote. The footnote is where there's war, there's gold, which is once per battle. At the end of the combat phase, 1 friendly Skyfarer's unit that fought in that phase gains 1 share of Aether Gold.
This is really good. I cannot stress how good this one is. I mean, personally, if you're running a block of 12 anything with balloons, you're going to want this. This is fantastic. If you're running 10 Thunderers, this is fantastic. Anytime that you can cycle more gold into those units that burn it, like almost every phase, I sometimes forget this one, and I go, oh my god, I would have won the game if I'd remembered that. Because
Oh,
you
this
just
is-
get so much value out of this. Don't forget
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Interestingly, it says at the end of the combat phase.
Combat phase.
Not your combat phase. So you could
Yes,
use a gold to reroll saves when they attack you. At the end, I'll get back my gold, and then you can
Yeah.
use it to do the same in the next round, or reroll all hits or whatever.
The key is that it's the end of the phase, because you can sort of remember this as, oh yeah, if I fight, then I get extra gold. And it's, it's not after they fought, it's at the end of the phase, so you can't, fight and then you can't attack, use your gold you already had, and then get an extra gold to then reroll saves when they fight back, because you won't get it till the end of the phase.
No, because it's one per phase. Anyway, use of
it's
gold
one per
is
phase
restricted to
anyway.
one
Yeah,
per phase.
but you don't get it back until the end of the phase. Is the important thing.
Yep.
So that's really good, because then you've already given a unit an extra gold potentially already, and then you can give them, a third gold, or a unit that you wanted to give gold but you didn't roll very well on your D3, and then you get an extra one from this.
Solid.
So yeah, gold is good. If you don't know what gold does, it means you get to use triumphs. I mean, I'd like to think most people here that are listening probably know what the gold does, but
So shiny.
yeah, it's really good. The next thing is the command trait, which you only have to use if you have a chemist as the general. And basically, the long and the short of it is, when the chemist uses their Aetheric augmentation ability to give reroll 1s to wound, they can choose 2 units to benefit from it instead of 1.
Woo! Don't make a chemist a general.
It's not bad, but there's better traits.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, this used to be really, like, if this was the old Aetheric augmentation, then it would be really good.
Yes.
But yeah, which you basically did get in the old book, and it wasn't even the command trait, it's just all. So it's nice that there's an ability that kind of references the old book.
1 chemist, 2 big blocks of Arcanauts. Those old Urbaz tactics.
Yeah.
Yeah, the best thing about this is that you don't have to take it.
Yeah, that is probably the best thing about it. Yeah,
I guess you
it
can build
makes it
around
fantastic.
it.
because it's avoidable.
It's avoidable.
It makes the Skyport flexible, because you get access to
Yes.
you get access to all the other command traits other than the chemist one, so you don't get access to collector, unfortunately.
Yeah, the only downside I could see is not having access to collectors, so you can't do the 3 artifact list that I like to use.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The way I think about this is, it's basically like getting a free command point every turn if your chemist is not in a boat, because then it can't use its ability. Because reroll 1s to wound is basically the same as reroll 1s to hit.
Completely different, but yes, also.
But yeah, fair enough. It's mathematically the same, as
Different.
in it's a 16...
mathematically different. You want reroll hits is actually objectively better.
Because it's
No,
on a
it's
bigger-
16% bonus, the same. You
No.
can map it
It's
out.
because it's after the hits.
It doesn't make a
So
difference.
remember.
You get
You'll
more
have
hits.
more
True.
dice.
You have more dice.
You'll have
If you
more
had to
dice
pick-
with hits.
No, you can map it out. It works out the same. Trust me.
Not on reroll.
Not statistically.
But you can. The difference is because you can stack this as well with the command ability, so you get reroll 1s to hit and wound.
You can.
Yeah. So
Which is nice.
that's the main thing. But
you could build around this 2 big blocks of engine riggers or Skywardens, and then buff both of them. It just needs something to keep up.
Yeah, it's not amazing.
A chemist on a what was that? Arcane Dias.
Thermal Rider.
that
Yes.
endless spell from Stormcast. I just think
Stormcast.
you
Do that.
can put a chemist
Actually,
on that and
how many
zoom him
points is
around
that?
12 inches.
It's
have
like
no idea.
30.
Yeah, take out
Very
Scuttle
true.
and put that on, dude. What the hell?
Because you don't need it, because it's 12 inch range anyway.
No, he needs to keep up with those 12 Skywardens.
Yeah, but when
Yeah.
they're moving to?
Moving up, you know.
Yeah, like they're going to move 12 inches and it's 12-inch range.
What is?
The ability.
No,
Yes.
it's 9-inch
Moving-
range.
All right, this one's
12
12.
inch.
Huh?
No, it's
And
12.
it's always
Oh.
12 inch.
What do you
It's
even
always
put?
12.
The
Really?
the chemist ability, I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
it's the same range as his gun.
No,
No.
Oh,
it's a different tool. It's the other hand. The augmented.
okay. Wait, what?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, Alex just realizing that he lost games to this.
Crap, that's a lot bigger than I expected. Yeah, it's 12 inches.
Yeah.
It is 12
Okay.
inches. But
Huh.
again, back to the point. Why can I
yes.
not put a chemist on the days on that
You can.
Stormcraft's
You
flying
just don't
carpet
need to.
and then move him 12 and keep him up with the...
Now, see, the thing is, those Skywardens are going to charge.
Maybe.
It would be
He's not gonna
majestic.
Eventually. But the key is they don't have to be within range of him when they charge. Like
No,
once
but
they're
you want
buffed,
to be
they
in
stay
range.
buffed.
You want to be in range for the next hero phase.
If you've
but you're
charged
not
something
gonna
and you
charge-
don't
If
kill
you
them,
invest in the flying carpet, you want to do this every
Yeah.
turn.
But they're not
If-
going to be. I mean, we'll talk about this in a bit because we actually have a list that uses this.
Yeah.
then you need to convert that. You need to convert that carpet to being like a little jetpack that he's riding on, an
But you could
engine-powered jetpack.
like you could go two different
I
routes
might-
with it. If you want to go a melee
might
route with
try
it, then
this.
he needs it. But
Because I
If
just
not,
stumbled
then-
about it. I never thought about it. I just stumbled about it and like,
yeah,
what does this actually do? What is this thing? The caster can start
yeah,
+1 save, 12-inch move. Like, ooh,
yeah.
interesting. If it's really just 30 points, might be useful.
It might be 40. I don't know. I can't remember.
Everything
but
below 40.
I remember
is-
Gary used to use it with the old book
Yeah.
on Incanter. Because then it's a 2+ save hero with 12-inch
Yep.
move and mortal wounds in combat.
Yeah. I mean, it puts the chemist on a 3+ too. That's
Yeah.
good.
So moving on to the last thing, which is this is probably what I would call the tax of the allegiance abilities.
Yes.
So the engine work that basically the first sky vessel has to be given this engine work, and it's called Breath of Morgrim. And in your shooting phase, you pick one enemy unit and roll 1 dice for each model from that unit within 6 inches of the bearer, and for each 6, that unit suffers a mortal wound.
There's worse frigate traits.
Yes, there are worse.
So
frigate ones.
this is
Actually-
something you can put on a frigate.
Yeah. I was going to say, you should
Because
have
the other
those on the
stuff's
frigate.
not good
Yeah.
on a frigate anyway, so why not?
I mean,
if you
yeah.
have enough ship.
Yeah,
Just
it's
put-
certainly no prudency shoots, that's for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
But it's the tax, because if you wanted to take an ironclad, then it means unless you've got a battalion, then your ironclad has to have this, which is not as good as.
I mean, you're taking gunhunters anyway for battle line, so just then
Yeah.
give it to a gunhunter. Okay.
Yeah.
But
then you
it's
have to
not
have a
bad.
battalion.
It's a shooting phase, not a shooting attack. So it's an ability. So you can still use it after you've run with with that boat, and it's something within 6. If you're in combat, you can target something that's not in combat with you. Just a unit behind within 6. For
It's
each
just not
6
as
that
good
you-
as the buoyancy aid or battle ram or something, is it? Or when you've got an
No.
ironclad, that's the thing.
It's basically
Goes every
There's
turn,
a-
though, which is nice.
there's
Yeah,
an
every-
endless spell that does something very similar to this.
It averages 5 mortal wounds on a group of 30 guys. It's not great,
Mm.
but it's every
Better-
turn.
But
So
more
it's not bad.
than a bomb. But yeah.
It has potential, because if you can really get surrounded by something, then poof. But although
then
saying
you can
that,
then you
it's
can
still
use
not gonna be poof.
the chemist's anatomizer artifact, which goes on a 5+.
Yeah.
Try,
The
And it
also
trouble
does
try
is-
not to get surrounded by stuff. That's usually how you lose an ironclad.
Yeah, you don't want to be surrounded by things. Is the problem.
Yeah,
The
definitely
trouble
not.
is it's on a 6, so you could quite easily roll for a unit of 10 guys and not do anything.
Yep.
If it was on a 5, then it'd be maybe a bit
And it's
better.
the unit suffers. The
Models would
anatomizer
fail.
is models that suffer.
Yeah, because
So you can actually break coherency with the anatomizer, but not with this.
Oh, seriously?
okay,
Yeah, because you
I
roll
think
for
of that.
each model. So if it's
You
like
roll
a
for each
daisy
model in
chain,
this one as well, but it's still the unit that suffers
yeah,
too.
but the unit suffers, and in the anatomizer, I believe it says the model, each model within on a 5+ suffers one. Let me quickly check before I embarrass myself here.
Well, while you're checking that, let's move on to a list because we talked about the abilities a bit.
Yep, for each 5+, that models. No, that model's unit suffers one. Never mind. Sure.
Okay.
Always read your rules and the code.
Yeah. But okay, yeah. Before we look at a list, in summary, you take Urbaz for the gold. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah.
Money.
Battle line.
Money.
Yeah.
Battle line, money, and flexibility.
Cool. Let's look at a list then. So which list is this? This is Dave Kane's tournament winning list for the finals at New Dawn. Dave was hopefully going to be able to join us, but unfortunately wasn't able to today. So it's an Endra Master with dirigible suit. Command trait is tough as old boots. He's got phosphorite bomblets. He's got an admiral. Aether chemist with emergency vent plates. 2 gun haulers, one of which has the breath of Morgrim. 2 units of 3 Skywardens. 2 units of 10 Thunderers. And an ironclad with the buoyancy aid and an escort wing. We won't spend too much time on this list because we haven't got Dave here. And if you really want to know what Dave thinks about it, you can go watch the interview with him, which I'll put a link to at some point. Just not yet because I don't have to do that when I'm live. So, but yeah, it's an escort wing list, which spoiler alert. I think you're going to see a few of those in a minute.
This is Barak Nar, buddy.
Yeah.
Urbaz, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, he's utilizing the gun hauler's battle line, which is handy. 2 units of 10 Thunderers for a little bit of flexibility with the buoyancy aid. They could be 1 unit of 20, but he prefers that flexibility. The Skywardens are basically chaff. Vent plates, vent plates are always great. I know Dave only plays them the way I think most people play them now, which is they last for 1 phase.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But you only really need 1 phase, I think. Do you agree?
Yeah, if you're playing against an alpha shooting, like the first phase is the one.
Yeah.
You want to protect yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And bomblets, switches. I was about to say always good, but sometimes good.
They are always just don't roll a 1 on your first roll, and you'll love them.
Or your second roll.
Yeah.
Or your third roll. Or
If you make it past 3, then it was worth it.
Yeah, probably. I tried doing the
good
math
dice
recently on doing it against 30 liberators to see if you could do 60 wounds. So it's like 555,000 to 1 chance that you'll do 60 wounds.
Look, never tell me the odds.
It's possible.
I think the other guy would flip the table. I don't know if I'd want to do that to the other guy.
He'd like exchange your dice halfway. It's like, here, use my dice, please.
You have to roll that really. Yeah.
Tough as old boots is great. It puts you up to 10 wounds. Yeah, the artifact's good. This is a 5-drop. I would prefer 4, but I do understand the flexibility of having the 2 fumigators just kind of drop down. And then
my issue with tough as old boots is it's 2 extra wounds, but wouldn't extra gold for another reroll saves give you more? Like if you could reroll your saves twice, that's more wounds in worth compared to 2 extra wounds.
I think the idea is usually the engine master will not be rerolling the saves. Not that you wouldn't want to, but the fact is that your ironclad is probably rerolling your saves in the same phase.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I usually round 2 or 3, I just send him on a mission somewhere to kill some stuff, and then it's super useful.
Depends, like when you enter master being targeted. I've found in the past he gets shot at, but he's got vent plates in this list, so that's probably not going to be an issue early on.
I'd probably give the Endelmaster Grudge Bear instead of Tough as Old
Same.
Boots. Yeah.
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 However, note Phosphorite Bommels do not double on Grudge Bear. Sadly.
No, they don't. That would be. Oh,
I had a
that'd be so
person who
good.
tried that. Like,
Yeah.
no.
Imagine that. I'm so mad at you. I've got a grudge against you. Even the fire is angry.
Yeah. It's a solid list. He's by having the battalion means he can shift the Breath of More Grim onto the gun rollers, which means that's like if you didn't have a battalion, then you'd be stuck. You wouldn't be able to get the buoyancy aid, and then this list wouldn't work. But I mean, the way Dave said he plays in the past is it looks like an Alpha Strike list because you've got 20 Thunderers in a boat.
Mm-hmm.
And so people go, shit, there's 20 Thunderers in that boat, and that can just fly high turn one, and it's got all the gold to re-roll. And so I think he just uses that against people. So they, screen up, deploy where they don't want to be, and then doesn't Alpha Strike. Because you don't have to. Although it is fun. It's fun when it works anyway. Because if you bounce it, it's not fun at all, is it?
I like fumigators. Yeah, it's good.
Oh yeah.
I can see how this one.
But yeah, if you want to know more about this list, then go check out the video where we interview Dave from his New Dawn tournament win. And speaking of Alpha Strikes with 20 Thunderers, here we go.
Oh look, it's a Krohn list with 20 Thunders and an Ironclad. What a shock!
Never does that.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really, this is really testing some new ground here.
Yeah.
No, this is when I said I had, Urbaz was the first thing I looked at. A week with the PDF and then a week with the book and then make a list for CanCon. This is what I came up with. Minus one gun hauler because the points back then only allowed for 2 gun haulers. So it's an Endermaster visual suit with Phosphex bomblets, Ether Chemist with a Realm Scourge Rupture as a alternate take on the Warp Lightning Vortex. 20 Arcanaut Company, gun haulers, 20 Thunders, Ironclad. So it doesn't Alpha Strike as much as the Zilfin list because the Thunders can't get out. So usually what happens is your turn one, your first turn, a lot of this stuff is going to move and fly high, but it's going to fly high slightly longer range. Thunders probably aren't going to get. You'll get your carbines in, but your special weapons at 12 inches will probably be out. And that turn one is just capping some of their units and not expecting that double turn. Essentially, you're trying to stay safe. You're trying to stay shielded, even though you've just flown high with the gun haulers out the front, the Ironclad in the back, and all your gold shares just to re-roll those saves and then in your second turn, everything gets out and just.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, you used to bait people's Alpha Strike with this, didn't you? And that was partly why you had the Rupture. Yeah.
So the Rupture was because the Warp Lightning Vortex was 100 points and didn't fit in it, and B, it was a kind of. All right, I'm not going to have this Arcanaut. The Arcanauts weren't screening for this one. The Ironclad was just kind of sitting there going, oh no, I hope someone doesn't try to charge me turn one, which inevitably they do, at which point you can, hopefully with reroll saves, tank the hits, Realm Scourge Rupture, whatever just charged you, which halves its movement, Ironclad moves over somewhere else. Whatever's got hit by the guns goes up to his half movement, so they're trapped in that corner of the board, and you can deal with the other half of their army that wasn't able to turn 1 charge.
So, I mean, it's almost a tactic because it's not something you've been doing with your more recent lists, but it's a strategy that might be worth revisiting when you look at some of the Stormcast lists that people are looking at the moment. Because if you can just like leave their 60 liberators stuck in the corner of the table where they're nowhere near any objectives, then that's pretty handy. Although a smart player probably won't do that, but
no.
I recognize it's going to go on a tangent, but I feel like I've been living a bit under a rock. What is it people are doing with Stormcast?
So with Broken
quick...
Realms, I can't remember the exact details, but basically Broken Realms, they got Liberators are better. So if they're in a Stormkeeper Allegiance for Stormcast, then they get +1 save and +1 to hit.
Yeah, so, when they don't move.
Yeah, if they haven't moved that phase.
In the moving phase, yes.
Yeah, if they haven't moved
but they can still charge and get
they can still charge. And then they have a battalion that basically says, after armies have been deployed, but before the game starts, you can pick up the whole battalion and then put it 9 inches away from your enemy.
Yeah, and in that battalion, you can put 30 Liberators, I think, or even more.
You can basically have 2 units of either Redeemers or whatever the other thing.
Justicators,
Justicars, I think it is. Yep. So you can have Liberators, or you can have basically
Judicators or whatever.
You can even have Vanguard Raptors if you want. But the more toxic thing that a lot of people are looking at is 60 Liberators, so 2 units of 30, and then they charge you, and then they either have a Castellan as well, or they have a non-Stormcast hero as a general, which means that they can get Staunch Defender as well as having like Anvils of the Helden Hammer, or one of their Stormkeep bonuses, because they normally say, the Stormcast hero has to have a certain command trait, so they can skip the command trait that way. So basically, you then have 30 bodies of Liberators, 60 wounds on a 2+ save, re-rolling
ones inherently from the War Scroll.
Yeah. Okay.
In your deployment zone.
Yeah, and then you add in a second battalion, which is just heroes, which gives you a lot of command points on a 5+ each hero phase, I think. And you can stick in a what's the keyword? Castellan? No, not the Castellan. Like the big dude on Stardeck. What's it called?
Lord Celestant on Stardeck.
A Lord Celestant, but he cannot be on a monster. However, Gabriel Sureheart, he's a Celestant.
Yeah.
So you can take him, and then you can play the Garv Bomb with 3+ however many 5+ you rolled for command points. Stack them on the Garv Bomb on those 40.
You got 2 battalions as well, so you got an extra 2 command points.
So you just deploy 9 inches away. They still get the bonus when they charge because they haven't moved. You fly them in 24 inches past whatever screen you put on, because you just shoot the screens with something else beforehand. And then you're just trapped in by 60 wounds or even 120 wounds of Liberators on 2+ rerolling ones in your deployment zone and where you're going to go. I mean, yes, Kharadron, we can fly high, so they probably screen out the backboard with Gryph-hounds and other stuff. Or a smart player would just sit on the objectives, 30 each. Have fun getting me off that.
That is
But
insane.
other armies, you just block them in their deployment, round 1. Yeah. They're not going anywhere.
So it's not so bad for KO because we can teleport, but any army without a teleport.
But still, you're not getting on those objectives anytime soon.
Yeah.
You're not going to blow through those 120 wounds.
Yeah, because the smarter player against KO is just sit on the objectives.
Sit down, shake hands, good game. I mean, you block in something like, I don't know, Fire Slayers. They can probably grind their way out, but it takes 3 rounds.
Yeah, but by the time they
By
have,
then-
and then
by
with their
then,
movement speed,
have
they're
no-
not getting onto the objectives.
They have no points by then. They can grind their way out of that, but
Stuff that
takes
gets
some time.
deployed off the board as well, like Fire Slayers with their Rune Smiters and stuff, and that will kind
yeah,
Might be okay.
It's-
yeah.
That's brutal.
it's tough. It's stupid. It needs to be uninvented, that battalion.
But it's-
How do they get the
There's-
2-up saves? Not a 3-up save. They have a 4-up net.
They have a
so
4-up. They get the +1 in the Storm Keep because Liberators are cool if they don't move. So because they're called Shields of Humanities, the ability.
Sure.
Okay.
I like it.
3-up.
3-up saves.
Staunch
sounds-
Defender,
Yeah.
2-up.
They've
Rerolling
got two
ones
ways
because
you can do it.
because they always have rerolling ones. Or you
Okay.
take some prayer or something and get another save.
That's
something,
nuts.
something.
Because I think the Staunch
And they're
Defender,
super cheap.
yeah, the Staunch Defender thing, I think will be FAQ'd possibly because I don't think their intention of they get like this 1 in 4 thing where they basically like Cities of Sigmar reversed,
Yeah.
and I don't think that is intended for them to have a free guild hero as a general. And
Because it
then
doesn't.
give-
It doesn't
and then
do
him
the
get
fring.
Staunch Defender.
It doesn't do the fring parenthesis where it says cannot be battle line or your general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
So
Yeah,
that,
no,
I
that
think that
needs
will
to
get
be changed.
FAQ'd. But even if they do FAQ that, they can still take a Lord Castellan, which gives +1 save.
Yep.
So, and the Lord
It's-
Castellan also gives them healing on a save roll of 7+.
Yeah. It's
So
it's a stupid list. We'll see where that goes.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah,
Let's move on.
tangent aside,
All right.
Krohn, if you were to play this list now, would you stick with the Rupture? Because we just put in a gun hauler to make up the points. Would you try and squeeze in Warp Lightning Vortex? Would you go another route? Or are you Zilfin fanboy now?
I mean, I am Zilfin fanboy now, but I feel like the Warp Lightning Vortex wouldn't work as well in this because it'd be, again, you couldn't cast it turn 1. I feel like the Sculpture is still a nice defensive option.
Yeah.
Just because of that halving the enemy movement.
On that vein, then, because we put a gun hauler in because of the extra points, would you consider a navigator so they're on quarter move instead? Potentially. Just to be mean.
I mean,
Yeah. Go down to 10 Arcanauts, get a navigator in.
Or you could take out a gun hauler because he had only 2 gun haulers before. But
Yeah.
Or you
Yeah.
could take out 10 Arcanauts because you said you're not really using them as a screen, so you could actually that could be your excuse. You know, when you're doing your acting at the beginning, you say, "Oh, I haven't managed to screen my Ironclad very well because I've only got 10 Arcanauts."
oh no, whatever will I do?
Yeah.
And I could probably give him the flare pistol instead of the phosphorite bomblets on the Endrin Master.
Mhm.
But
And then you have
But-
minus.
but the phosphorite bomblets are so nice. And I told you the story in the chat of
Mhm.
they did actually save me on the first game at CanCon there, against some Khorne Demon Prince who walked onto one of those big daises in the center of the board, a big dais terrain feature in the center of the board, said, "This is like darkness now," or whatever his ability is called, like void darkness. You can't see into this, and also everything within 18 can't run, and it is half move or whatever the Khorne aura is. And Dumas just ran up, Phosphex bombs, no more Demon Prince, 14 mortal wounds later.
That's
Did it
insane.
actually do 14?
Yes, I don't need line of sight. I know he's only got eight mortal wounds, but at that point, it's not about winning. It's about sending a message. You just keep rolling.
God, man, poor man.
Just keep rolling.
Did the guy ever play with you again, or did he like? Oh man.
Well, I mean,
So
yeah, CanCon. I never saw him again, but
he was on the bottom tables and you're on the top tables too. He might not have been on the bottom tables. He might have done well. I don't know.
could have. Yeah, I remember he was using a Lady Olinda model kind of conversion as the Demon Prince.
Okay.
Nah,
That seems strange, but I don't know. I can't picture it, but I don't know.
He
It
learned
might
to
be really
fear the new
bottomlets.
book. Then I learned to fear the new Zench book, but that's another story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing, Kyle, you brought up about this list, which I think is really relevant that people should take home, is it's not great if you come up against Be'lakor.
Nope.
As with all ironclad centered lists, you can get shut down for 2 turns. Note when you're up against Be'lakor, if you go second, his ability says his next hero phase. So if you double turn him, you can't use your ironclad for 2 turns.
Mhm. Yeah, although they might not even target the ironclad, they could target the Thunderers.
Yeah, and that's the much better move because the ironclad doesn't care so much about. Yeah, it's 1 round of shooting. Worst case 2 of the ironclad.
And movement. But yeah, you're right.
It
Yeah,
could
fly high
stop it
is
from
not
flying high,
affected.
though.
No,
Isn't
it doesn't
it?
stop it
Fly
flying
high
high.
is not affected by this. So people tend to Be'lakor my ironclad every time. I say, yeah, okay. Well, I then roll a 5+ for shooting and it shoots anyway. But that's just my luck. But the much smarter move would be to hinder the Thunderers because they do so much more damage than the ironclad when they're outside of the book.
Either
They
way, it's 25% of your list potentially not shooting because you've got 480 points.
Yeah, it's
If
a
they're
great
unit.
ability, no question, but it's not as bad, I think.
Yeah. But it's something to be aware of if you go down a list, because if you compare this list to the one before, which had 2 units of 10 Thunderers, then this is probably outright more powerful,
Yes.
but less flexible. But there's drawbacks with more powerful, unfortunately. And Be'lakor is one of them. You come up against it. Not being able to be in 2 different places at the same time is another.
That's what your gun haulers are for, but yeah.
Sorry, pardon?
That's what your gun haulers are for, but yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Okay,
gun
let's move
haulers.
on.
Brilliant. Let's move on to the next list. Don't know where my mouse is. There it is.
This one's mine.
Oh yeah, that's your list. Yeah.
That's a cute one.
Yep. I use this one every time I play physically. This is the army I own.
Well, before you explain it, can I just say one thing? Because I put these lists in a certain order. So we started with 20 Thunderers and 2 gun haulers. The next best thing from 20 Thunderers and 2 gun haulers is 20 Thunderers and 3 gun haulers. And then the next best thing from that is 20 Thunderers and 4 gun haulers.
Who needs
So
endless spells?
Yeah.
When you have
sorry about
guns.
that.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Explain
not
the
in
list.
You don't need magic. I'm not playing Zilfin. Okay, so what does this do? I got 3 heroes: Admiral with Grudge Bear and Runemark. As I said earlier, Grudge Bear makes the Admiral hit on. You spend a CP to hit +1. Hits on 2s and 2s, rerolling 1s to hit and wound against a hero, and -2 4 damage. Right, this guy can just walk up and smack a hero for 12 damage.
So
you have
is it 3 attacks?
3 attacks.
Yeah. So it's potentially 12 damage.
Yeah.
Which
So
is
it's like a
pretty
90%
massive.
chance of making it through if they don't have any -1s to hit, which is pretty insane. Then
Well,
so you have
how does it do 12 damage? It
the,
does
Grudge
2
Bear
damage.
gives you
So that's
times
4.
2.
Ooh, 4 damage. Oh.
Yeah, because you get double damage.
Oh.
Oh.
Ooh, I have
So
a painted Admiral and I never use him.
Yeah, that smacks, dude. It slaps. Then you might be thinking, how the hell does the Admiral with a 4-inch move make it over there? Well, you put him inside of a gun hauler with compartments, and while you cannot run and charge, the gun hauler once per game can move 18 inches. So you move that gun hauler 18 inches with the Admiral inside. The 2 chemists hop inside as well. So usually you ask yourself, 9-inch weapon on the chemist, they'll never hit anything the first turn. Well, 18 inches says you can. So you go forward, you make it up to their front line. You can hit whatever you want with 6d6 -2 AP, 4s and 4s, 1 damage atomizers, or whatever his regular weapon is called. So you can blow up a lot of things with -2 AP, like screens. You can just chop through them. So what they might do is they might, okay, well, remove the screen so you stop shooting them because you have 9-inch weapons. And then you go, oh, joke's on you. Now I can charge. So you charge in with that gun hauler with the admiral who's got the Runa mark. And so he goes over there and he smacks the thing and he kills it. And then so you got a gun hauler. So the other good thing about this is that secondaries, you take bait and you put bait on the gun hauler. And so you can just run this in, kill their hero. Take this list is also really great for the 3 hero hunting secondaries, which are Grudge Bearer,
Assassinate,
and Assassinate. Yeah.
Just generally, Grudge Bearer is really good for all of those auxiliaries.
For multi-damage.
So this is just a really good like secondary combo, but it also just removes the general basically, or anything that's really you're worried about. It kills it, and then you got to think to yourself that was only 400 points of this army, and that did a crap ton of damage. Secondly, Caustic and Atomizer. We talked about how questionable Breath of Morgrim is. The Caustic and Atomizer can hit multiple units in the combat phase. So this means, so the problem with Breath of Morgrim is that it's within 6 inches in the shooting phase. This means that in in your shooting phase, the first shooting phase, you can't use
away.
it. Yeah, they're at least 3 inches away, and then if you fly high, they're 9 inches away. So you're not really hitting that much. Of course, this is where you use it on the gun hauler and you move 18 inches. So you move both gun haulers 18 inches. Then you're in range for the Breath of Morgrim 2 on the first turn, which is, people don't expect that. But so then after that, you charge in. You can either charge into their hero, like if this is Skaven, the hero will be surrounded by a ton of like clan rats or something, right? You charge in, then you have your Caustic and Atomizer, and you're gonna roll for every single model within 6 inches of that gun hauler, which you got to charge and put wherever you wanted to maximize that damage.
Charge on a flying model as well.
Yeah.
So...
I've done this to a Tzeentch player who had 9 flamers, a bunch of pinks, and their hero all around my gun hauler, and I did 22 mortal wounds off of the Caustic and Atomizer, and that was insane. Like I just blew them up, and the gun hauler lived because of the extra gold. So that little combo is really, really fun. I would highly recommend that to anyone who has multiple chemists and an admiral. Also, it's really thematic because I play it as a bounty hunter list. So like I plot down, I'm gonna get. I named all these characters. I'm getting nameplates for all the ships and stuff. And you're like, okay, yeah, this is my bounty hunter list. That guy, I have a bounty on him. Here's the Runa mark. We're gonna go pick up that bounty. So it's a fun thematic, and
it's like a Mandalorian list.
Exactly, and it's competitive. Because I take this to all the tournaments I play, physically. So talking about the battle line a little bit. So you have 4 gun haulers. Oh, actually, before I go into the actual army,
I have a question.
Yeah.
So you triggered Rune of Mark by smacking that hero that you.
I don't always do that. You can, but yes.
But who is your priority to give the gold to?
Unfortunately, you have to pick the 3 closest models, right?
But you can play around it if you know what's going to happen.
In practice, I actually usually put the Runa mark on a different, not the target I'm going with, the admiral. Okay. In actual practice, you'll put it. So let me talk about the battalions real quick because this is important. The battalions is 2 escort wings, which means I'm basically playing 2 separate 1,000 point armies.
Both rerolling ones against different targets.
Yeah. So the heroes inside this gun hauler do something, they go off on their own. The first escort wing is entirely long range. I have 2 drills and then a frigate with nothing but rifles and 2 cannons. That will be my long range force, which will operate at 18 plus inches, sometimes 12. And they will go off to one side, and then I might have a Runa mark on the target that they're shooting at, because I will pump the Aether Gold in their wound rolls
Mhm.
to pick
For the
off whatever it
Thunderers.
is. Yeah, the Thunderers at the long range. I'll put their Aether Gold to reroll their wounds.
Yep.
And so they'll kill whatever they shot at because of the reroll and ones to hit, and then get the Aether Gold, of which you want to put on the boat and the unit that just shot. So that means that beginning of the game you usually I get 2, sometimes only 1 Aether Gold. It's going to go on the Thunderers. If you get 3, then put 1 on the frigate that has the one of these frigates should have the thing that buoyancy, not buoyancy, when you drop out, prudency shoots. And we would joke about prudency shoots sucking, and I agree that it kind of sucks. But the reason why I have it in there instead of the sky mines is the 10 Thunderers with special weapons are going in. Like I usually charge them. So in the boat that they're in, I charge them in for either mortal wounds, or I need to get onto an objective or something. Like there's usually a reason, and the boat's going to be close enough that it's probably going to die. And I can also get gold out of going into combat. So when that boat dies, you don't really want Thunderers to die because they're pretty expensive on a per model basis, and I roll terribly. So I take it just because.
The difference there is because you're charging into combat, whereas normally prudence, generally people try to avoid being in combat with boats.
Yeah.
And if you end up in combat, it's because your opponent charged you, and then in which case they surround the ship, and they don't even have to surround the ship fully. But if you charge in, then you tag the end of the unit, and then you're not going to get surrounded. And in that case, prudency shoots can actually do something useful.
Because if you die and then you hop out on the objective, like to say that there's a Keeper of Secrets sitting on an objective by itself, your one boat might die to it, and one boat's not going to do anything to capping the objective. But if you charge the objective and the boat dies, your 10 Thunders pop out, then you get the objective.
It's actually beneficial to have the boat die.
Yeah,
which is a suicidal boat.
So there are situations where this come through and had been really, actually surprisingly important. And it's really nice. So I cannot stress enough how much you need to cycle the gold on these Thunders. So it's like, imagine you're reloading, and then firing again. You just have this thematic thing in your mind. Just keep loading the cannons. That's what these Thunders are doing. The frigate is a transport. This is kind of like playing 40K, because you have a mobile transport that actually rerolls saves for everybody inside the boat. Because they're attacking the boat, probably not the Thunders, who have a 3-up save and -1 to hit.
Yeah.
So it's a transport that can score objectives that you can hop out of, and because this is an objective-based game, this is basically a 40K army, but it works really, really well. The only downside of it is that there's 20 different gun profiles. It takes a while to roll all the dice. So the times I've lost with this has usually been in timeouts. You have to be on top of it. You have to roll quickly. And then the drills can.
Breath of Morgrim and Atomizer are not helping with that rolling.
No.
When you're rolling, you can got to roll for 4 models from this unit and 6 from this unit.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of dice.
How do you feel about screening?
So 4 gun haulers. It's 40 wounds, and you can space them out pretty. The gun haulers are, while they score objectives, they're not. It's not an issue if you lose 1 or 2. And typically, you got to remember that there's 3 inches of the Ironclad can. Sorry, the Ironclad does not have an Ironclad on this list. Frigates can sit in the back, and they can redeploy anywhere. The gun haulers, you can set up pretty far away just to screen out the 9-inch anyone just deep striking. That's really usually what you need it for, is just one model standing there to keep 9 inches away an additional 3 inches away. For people who move really far, like orcs, they can go 36 inches in one turn. They'll smash into the frigate, the gun haulers, and you just move over. You can, depending on what it is you're fighting against, if they are weak to -1s to hit, you can put the thunders in front with the fumigators, and then just give them -2s. So there is options. But yeah, typically I'm using the drills to screen, because the drill cannons are just for capping objectives, sometimes for sniping. But in practice, they usually don't do much, except really only ones to hit. Is nice. But if I lose them, I don't lose very much killing power.
Okay.
So when you're deploying and there's one or two of your gun haulers are going to be at more risk than the others, it will be your drill cannon ones, would it?
It will be the drills, yes.
Yeah.
Because sky cannons, while swingy, have a lot higher damage potential. So the longer
Just in
the
the
game goes,
scatter shot.
yeah.
Scatter shot and sky cannons is so good.
Yeah, and second question would be, who's getting the extra gold start of the game?
Yeah, so 2 thunders. And then the frigate that has buoyancy shoots.
Mhm.
Also, always start the Aether Chemist with the thunders outside of the boats, so you can slap the reroll wounds on before they get into the boat, and then hop and go forward.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is important, because that's something you can't do in Zilfin that we haven't really mentioned in some of the things, is because in Zilfin you're normally using the hero phase move, so you can't get in the boat before it
To
moves.
then deploy them so they're inside the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in all the other Skyports, you can deploy outside the boat as long as it's safe, as long as you've got a screen. And then you just get in beforehand, which means the chemist can use its buffs, which is pretty good.
Mhm.
And something I was going to say about the anatomizer, I can't remember what. Yeah. So with the combo with the anatomizer, and you've got 2 gun haulers going in as well. Well, you mentioned the pinks, and I hadn't thought about this before, but obviously, pink horrors, obviously, when you do wounds to them, they split. And anatomizer happens at the start of the combat phase, but so does your bombs. So if you do your bombs first, and then the pink horrors split, then there's actually more dice to roll for the anatomizer. Which is
In best case, 3 more dice.
Yeah, but it could be 1 or 2 extra wounds. I mean, potentially, because the amount of wounds that pink horrors potentially are, there's when there's only so many of them on there, there's actually 50 wounds potentially, so it all helps. That's quite fun. One thing we haven't mentioned is the emergency vent plates, which is just for defending against heavy shooting. Basically.
Turn 1. Or, depends. If they can't make it to me on turn 1, I'll use it turn 2.
Yeah. Yeah, and your 5 drops?
5 drops.
Yeah. So, how often do you find you get to decide the turn with that?
I get it most of the time I've played it, but the area I'm in, the people tend to have higher drops. In regards to tournament play I play on TTS, usually drops around 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a little bit, you don't get to pick the pace as much as you might want, but usually it's not too much of an issue, because in Urbaz you can deploy in the corner.
Okay. One last question, which is, you get 2 extra command points because you've got 2 battalions, but everything's re-rolling 1s pretty much anyway. So what are you mostly spending your command points on?
So I get put up against Krohn a lot, and Krohn just kills the heroes. So there's not. I don't
so
always
you don't
get
use
a
your
chance.
command points.
Yeah, I don't always get it. I don't always get a command point. But when I do, what do we use them on? Well, you pop the +1 to hit on the Admiral.
Yep.
You'll need it to reroll those charges, because sometimes you'll fail it. You need the boat to make it there. So I actually do run out of CP because that's what I spend it on. It's really good to have that volley fire on 2 different targets every turn because you're blowing up 2 different units every turn.
Yep. Cool. No, I like it. When you shared it in our chat the other day, I was like, "Ooh, 2 escort wings."
Yeah,
that
was cool to see.
Yeah,
It's a creative list, yeah.
Yeah, cool. I like it. And it's 6 boats.
6 boats.
Yeah, 6 boats. I mean, Phil McGuinness has got a run on his hands.
Yeah, but he uses bigger boats.
Bigger boats.
You can buy 2 of those Christmas boxes and you can play this list. Oh, 2 of the Christmas boxes. You buy a bunch of Thunder boxes.
Yeah,
and then 4 Thunder boxes and some heroes.
But yeah,
almost.
Yeah.
Well, you could just never put the Thunders on the table. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
I have 20 Thunders. You just can't see them.
They're in a boat. Who cares about special weapons? They're in a boat.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Has anyone got any other questions about this list? I don't know. We'll move
also,
on.
Atomizers on 5s instead of 6s, which is a big difference.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And if you're watching live and you've got questions, feel free to ask. There's a little bit of a delay between when they come up and when you sort of type them out, but we're trying to answer them. So, you know what's better than 4 gun haulers?
Speaking of lots of boats,
is 5 gun haulers
and 2 ironclads.
Yes.
7 boats.
So, Phil, you had a run on your hands for the title of I don't know what, Fleet Master or whatever. I don't know. I used to call him Phil 6 Ships McGuinness, but now Krohn is Alexander 7 Ships Krohn.
I've actually run this list, not an event, but just with friends. It's pretty fun. It actually works. It does work against. Well, I mean, I've tried it against ghouls because that's what I usually play against. But it does work. So it's all the drops. So you're not choosing who's going first or second. And it's basically, you've got these 7 ships. You've got a Lord Ordinator who will make them all 2+ to hit, and you've got a Night Vexiller who teleports the Ordinator so he can stay within range of the boats. Everything flies high. Ordinator comes with them. Shoot, kill. What is subtlety?
Yeah.
This isn't subtlety. This is just
death.
Okay.
And you have an Admiral with War Wound, which we explained earlier. It's when we get an extra CP on a 2+. So you can give your Ironclads.
What's with the repeater, though?
Yeah. Why
I was going to ask about that. Why Gatlinson's Endless Repeater?
It's I couldn't think of many good relics to give the Admiral.
You can pick a Rune of Mark.
Rune of Mark. Give all your boats extra gold.
Or Mass Kailer and just use Volley Fire 4 times.
For all the ships.
That's fair.
You're already hitting on 2s. You really want to be really long this plans.
Yeah. I do have a question because I can't actually remember. What does Gatlison's Endless Repeater even do?
2 additional shots on his pistol, so it's 5 shots on a 3/4, 1 rend, 1 damage.
Okay, yeah, that's why I've
at 9 inches.
Oh yeah, it's 9 inches. Okay, that's why I've forgotten it.
Okay,
it's 9 inches. It still doesn't matter.
Okay, Mass Kailer. Mass Kailer, get those reroll 1s to hit. Yep, that's a good one.
Okay, yeah. I mean, what would you guys go with, Mass Kailer, or would you go with Rune of Mark?
Probably Mass Kailer, just because you only get to reroll saves once. When they come and slap you, it's going to be on 2 or 3 or 4 boats at once. You don't get the luxury. I mean, the one good thing about playing KO where you have very few number of units is the fact that you get to dictate where you're rerolling your saves. In situations like this, when I played against this list, I just shot every single gun hauler at the same time with multiple guns from everything, and you can only reroll saves on one of them. So you can basically force them not to reroll any saves because you're gonna threaten the ironclad later, and you could just end up not even firing at the ironclad at all. So the downside here is the fact that you're not really getting gold efficiency due to the fact that you have so many different targets.
I think the problem here is how are you gonna cap objectives?
They can't cap objectives if they don't have an army.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You don't need to cap objectives if the enemy doesn't have models. Just get rid of their models with your models, and then you cap the objectives later.
What's the range on the teleport standard?
24 inches, I think.
No, the unit he wants to teleport needs to be within how much?
I think
12?
it's 12 to begin with.
These are small bases.
So that limits a bit your.
But then he can teleport the Ordinator anywhere on the table.
Yeah, so he does it once, and the next round your ships move elsewhere. How is he getting with them?
He's not. He's not. You get one turn. You kill the 5 Terrorgeists. You win.
Yeah.
That's how I played this list.
5 Terrorgeists.
So, I mean, I played with the Ordinator and the Vexler before, and I didn't have quite this many ships. I did have 2 ironclads. And yeah, your later turns, it's not so good because you don't have the Ordinator there. I think there's another play for this, which is you just take 2 Ordinators, you run one forwards, and that's where you fly high to because you put them on 2 different flanks. And the next turn, you fly high to the other flank, and then you run the other one forwards, or you running forwards and then fly high to in range of him. And then you can keep switching from to the one different sides of the board where the other Ordinator is.
Yeah.
That works. I mean, you don't have quite so much range because I think what's the Ordinator is like 12-inch range ability.
It's wholly within 12.
Yeah.
So he needs to be pretty. This all needs to work as a big clump.
Yeah. You wouldn't be able to go quite so far if you had 2 Ordinators, would you?
It's nice to have your entire list come out of boats, and you can really do this the best in Urbaz, I think. You can do it in Zilfin, but I don't rate frigates for this kind of stuff.
The other way you can play this is you could put drill cannons on all the gun haulers, which is not so good, but you could not teleport your Knight Vexillor until later in the game, rather than doing it turn 1. And
Not
then
doing very much damage though, but yeah.
Yeah, you do a couple of turns of, or one or maybe 2 turns of, sprinkling some damage, and then you move in for the kill.
The problem with drills is that there's never a kill. You
do
3.
Don't say that.
I mean, what are you gonna do against 140 wounds? You got 3 wounds per gun, and you have 5 guns as 15 wounds.
Yeah,
it's not enough.
I mean, it depends, on the battle plan as well, because this list will work a lot better on something like Battle for the Pass, where you're playing lengthwise. It's narrow, and therefore you can pretty much put the Ordinator in the middle of the map, and then it's great. It doesn't matter that later on you might need to go somewhere else because you can probably pretty much shoot from wherever you need to be.
I mean, you could just hug all the gun holders around the Ordinator with drill cannons, sipping in the back. That's 5 shots, 36-inch on a 3+, 3+, free rend, D3 damage, and 6 to hit, do 3 mortal wounds flat. You're gonna kill some heroes.
5s actually, but yeah.
Yeah.
Is it unmodified hit of 6?
It's unmodified 5s for gun haulers.
5s, yes. Oh, even better. It could. It's like a little weapon platform. Like, just shoots out drill cannons. I mean, yeah.
This list does work. It has worked.
I believe
Okay.
it. I'm not saying
we
it
know
doesn't.
it works.
We're not
It's,
saying
it
it doesn't work, but
we're trying to improve and create
I
perfection.
wouldn't paint another 4 gun holders to try this list. Honest opinion. It's my comes to.
Yeah.
I almost done it.
Every time, say hello. Hello.
The cat is
Every
here.
time. Every time. Special guest.
Yeah, I mean the main problem is you don't have bodies, but I mean you can use gun holders to screen the ironclads. And, yeah.
The ironclads will always have their 6-up their 6-up after save.
Yeah.
Runa. The mask hail is probably a better option, so you can get as many reroll ones as you can.
Yeah.
And then you just hit, and then you use shares. Well, no, you don't use shares to reroll wounds. Oh well.
It's all for saves. You can.
It's all for saves.
You reroll the wounds on the ironclads. Maybe if you have 3 shares, 2 or 3 shares.
You know where this list falls down a little bit is we didn't mention it to him when we looked at the abilities. Is the extra gold you get from after you fought at the end of the combat phase is for Skyfarers, as opposed to your ships won't get it. So it's basically
just your admiral.
Just your admiral that will get that.
I would actually run this in Zilfin with frigates, just because everything in Zilfin is boat buffs, whereas in Urbaz, the only thing you're getting is the gold. Everything else is for units.
You get the reroll ones against flying units on all your units.
You get 2 engine works that aren't useless, so you get 2.
You could have the last word, and you could have battle ram.
But frigates, you pay so many more points for essentially no increase in firepower.
Yeah, the carbines.
Yeah, 4
A
carbines.
little bit on the carbines.
The cannon is a flat 6 damage rather than.
Also, it's
D6,
24 inches for the shrapnel. And
no,
30
not on a frigate. It isn't. Frigates are still D6 damage.
There's definitely something better about the.
It's the range. The range
is
is
the
better.
range, is it?
24 inches.
24 inches on the shrapnel is actually kind of big. 30 inches for the long range cannon means you can sit with Lord Ordinator on the first turn without moving him and pepper with actual heavy artillery.
Yeah, I just want to take this one point to say it is really annoying having all the ships having the same name weapons that doing. Well, they're not all the same name, but
no, they're not the same.
They're all different, actually.
Great Sky.
But it's really annoying in game when you're trying to remember, like, oh, what's the stat on this one? It's like, oh, am I thinking of the wrong ship? And then you check it, and then it's like, oh, it was.
They're all 3s and 2s, and torpedoes are 4s and 3s.
Except for on the gun hauler, the carbines are 3s and 4s.
Yeah, the small ones. Yeah.
But,
they're like rivet guns. Same profile.
Yeah.
There's not that many different profiles to remember.
A lot of KO is 3s and 3s or 3s and 4s.
Yeah, or 4s and 3s. If
it's just
like
things like the carbines on the gun hauler, you have to remember 1 damage rather than 2, and yeah, it's just annoying.
I mean, have you seen the carbine on the gun hauler? Tiny little gun.
It's a blow dart, isn't it? Little skink just sitting there on the side of the ship.
Exactly. So yeah, no. The only thing I always need to check is like the melee attacks of a navigator, stuff like that. Like you never need. What does he do? Oh, freeze! Like 4s and 3. Oh, okay.
Surprisingly, navigator is actually better in combat than the chemist is.
Yep.
That always gets okay. So 2 attacks, 4s and 4s. Oh wait, no, 3s and 4s. Okay, angry little guy.
I didn't know that.
That's why you need Borg and
He's a little
because he gets an extra attack.
He attacks with his sapphire scope. Hop out of the window of the ironclad.
Smack.
Hop
Yeah, we've digressed. But yeah, if you really like boats, and this is a fun list.
If you have too many boats. If you bought too many of those, start collecting our Battle Force boxes.
Yeah. And you don't want to use all your Thunders and Skyriggers.
You don't want to paint infantry, just boats. Yeah. With the big brush.
We mentioned you can do a similar version of this in Zilfin. You can You can also do like a non-port version, because in the non-port version you get the reroll ones for ships, and you can get the gold from Urbaz as well. But you're stuck with Arcanauts as battle line, unfortunately. But you can still fit in 2 Ironclads and the Ordinator and the Vexillor. So yeah, there's another way you can do it.
You had your 45 Skywarden list, Lee.
Yeah.
This is my vengeance.
Yeah. No, I mean it's a fun list. So
No, I agree. It's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Or is this the last one?
yeah, we got one more.
Oh yeah.
Wait, do we have one with 6 gun haulers?
we do not have one with 6. We could have done more with like 9 gun haulers, and I think you can get up to 15 on the list, probably. I don't know, maybe 12. You can
14.
get a lot in.
You need 1 hero.
14, yeah.
You need a general.
I don't think you need us to tell you those lists. You can probably, if you just want to see how many gun haulers you can fit in the list, and you can work it out.
Just ask Seb in a WhatsApp chat.
Yeah, Seb will soon tell you. So this last list is basically an example to show a slightly different style of play. Well, it's completely different to the last list, but it still uses the Escort one. But this is a list that actually uses the command trait for the chemist. So you have 2 chemists. One's obviously the general with the Chemist Supreme command trait, where he gets to pick 2 units, and then you also have emergency vent plates and the Corsic Anatomizer. You have 20 Arcanauts. They've got 2 of each weapon. It doesn't really matter. They're a screen and bodies. 2 gun haulers, 1 with collapsible compartments. 10 Thunderers, taking Fumigator in there. You could play those in the same way Carl likes to, with a couple of cannons if you want to. It's preference, that sort of thing. And the main thing is 2 units of 12 Skywardens with guns. They've got drill launchers and bodies on this version, but you could take 2 grapnels and 2 skyhooks.
No. Go
drill cannons. Drill launchers is
drill launches is a thing of beauty.
Yeah, and then you have a frigate to round up the battalion, which has the Breath of Morgrim. The reason it has Breath of Morgrim, because we talked about in the past in some of the other lists about, if you have a battalion, then you can push Breath of Morgrim onto gun haulers, but on a frigate, it's quite good because frigates have rubbish engine works. So, and it's got a bigger base, and it's like all the models within range, so it's got a bigger base, and that allows you to take collapsible compartments. Okay, you could do a different thing with the gun hauler, but it allows you to move one of your chemists around separately if you have that. And then you have the Escort Wing Battalion. So basically, this is a bit. Oh, I just realised this says Barak Nar at the top.
That's
they
what
all
I
said
said at
that.
the beginning. Yeah, they all said that's. I said that at the beginning. I said it in the first one. I said that earlier.
Whoops.
Yeah.
We found it.
So we found the copy paste area for this.
I think I actually saw it when you first put this on the slides and the Facebook thing. Did I not say anything? 'Cause I was like, hey, dude, you got Barak Nar there. Pretty sure I pointed it out. And I pointed it out.
I probably just thought you were just like, oh, we're talking about Barak Nar still from because it was like the day after the Barak Nar show. Yeah, but what you don't know is I changed the colours. So this is the Barak Urbaz red and this is the Barak Urbaz blue. So I changed that. I just didn't change the words.
Nice.
It's not red. It's red.
It's red.
Yeah.
The only thing I question is why shooting Skywardens? Aren't the rivet guns better than the vulcanizer pistols? They've got more range. They've got more shots.
Because you've got Escort Wing, so you get reroll ones.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
You could do riggers. Basically you want 2 units of balloon dudes.
Yep.
It doesn't matter that much. There's another benefit with the Skywardens as well, which I'll get into in a minute. But basically, this is a gun line with an Escort Wing secondary to go take out some things that you can't reach with your gun line, which is similar to what we did with some of the Barak Nar things in last week's show, except for you're not using bridge or anything. You're just using the innate range of balloon guys because they've got 12-inch move, 24-inch guns. That's 36-inch threat range. which is good.
Yeah, I think you
Um,
play this with like you would play Pistoliers as skirmish cavalry. You stay pretty much as far away as you can, and then not have to worry about volley fire range because you can do it from literally anywhere on the map. So you can spread out and then have your Skywardens actually really sit far back. The thing is, the reason why you'd take 2 units of Skywardens instead of 2 units of Riggers is that you wouldn't go forward with the Riggers. You wouldn't want to be 12 inches away to be shooting
No.
those rivet guns. You want to be abusing that 24-inch range to sit far back. So if they come to you, they might still not even make it to you. So you want to do that for 2 turns before, and then you can go in for the charge.
I mean, riggers can do the same. The only reason is battalion drops and the reroll ones to hit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And there is a third thing as well, which because you use the Arkanauts as basically a screen for the 2 units of 12, and the Skywardens can fight over the top.
Arcs have 25 mils or 28.
Yeah, so you
Both
potentially
can do
can.
No, riggers could fight over too.
Riggers can, Wardens can fight over the top and not get hit back by 1-inch weapons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is a difference. And you can get because you don't really want necessarily the Wardens to get into combat, but because you probably actually want to be shooting something else. But the main thing about the list is that you use Chemist Supreme, so both units are re-rolling ones to wound, and then one of them's using their gold. You spend a CP on the other one, so they're re-rolling ones to hit, or you target something that you're getting re-roll ones from the escort wing.
Yeah.
Depends if you want your gun haulers and frigate to go and target something else with the Thunderers or not. But you can.
Could you fit a? I know he's not Barak Urbaz, is he? The Fundrick?
No, he's not.
But you can fit him in.
As the second
drop
chemist?
the Arkanauts down. I did have a previous version of this.
Because he gives his abilities as reroll ones to hit. So
yes, you can. He will only be able to do it on 1 unit anyway. But the reason I don't have him in is so that you have the flexibility if you can send one of your chemists elsewhere. So for missions where you need a leader to score extra somewhere or something.
Yep.
You don't. And it also means that at some point, if you want to, you can drop your Thunderers out and a chemist out because he's in the gun hall that's thrown high as well somewhere. And you can drop them out and they can be -2 to hit somewhere. And then your ships can still go off somewhere else to create a third.
I mean, you can stick
point.
Fundrick and his dudes in a gun hauler.
Yeah, you could do. Yeah, you could do.
I think the only downside,
Even the balloon guy.
only real downside here is the fact that you'd lose you lose an artifact that you're technically paying for.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing. Was you really only have space for 2 heroes, and then you're like, well, you don't want to waste an artifact.
Nope.
Vent Place is really handy because Skywardens or Riggers are not durable at all.
Nope. I found that out with the Zon list. You charge, but if you don't kill them, but when you charge, you're not going to survive them hitting back.
Yep.
Nope.
Yeah, they're not durable, and they've got a screen to protect them from combat for 1, maybe 2 turns or whatever, depending what charges the Arkanauts. But yeah, they can die quite easily from shooting. So Vent Plates will keep them alive for a turn, or help to keep them alive for a turn.
But can you fit them all inside the 6-inch bubble?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 inches is massive, isn't it?
Remember,
it's 24 Skywardens.
It's 12 inches total. You know, you can do it.
You can
I
do it.
guess.
Yeah. So.
Also, you can put them inside the boat. I mean, if you're really worried about.
Oh yeah. See, that's the other thing. Is you can probably start on the heroes inside the.
I would actually swap the well, I don't know. That's kind of hard. Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about swapping the artifacts around.
I would, but then at the same time,
Yes.
if you're putting the caustic and atomizer on a gun hauler that's going forward.
Exactly.
So I think it's actually fine the way it is. You would lose Chemist Supreme if you really needed to not get shot to death, by putting the chemist inside of a frigate at turn 1, so your range for the 6 inches extends your whole army.
Yeah. The strange thing about this list is that it's built around Chemist Supreme, but Chemist Supreme isn't actually that great. It's kind of, we spoke about at the beginning, it's like a bit like getting an extra command point, but it's not as useful. It's not as versatile as a command point.
Mm-hmm.
It's only really useful when you do get your Skywardens in combat, because then they're getting reroll 1s to wound in combat as well as shooting, because it's not limited to a phase. You could do similar versions of this list, where you just had an admiral with war wound, or Mars Kaler wouldn't work because you can only use that on boats, but or there's potentially melee versions of this list as well.
Well, reroll 1s to wound is always good. So being able to put it on every single unit that you have is good. Not including the arcs, because you're not putting it on the arcs.
No,
but you could put it on
the
the arcs.
Thunderers. You put it on the Thunderers with if you don't start the chemist in the boat, then you put it on the Thunderers, so then they're rerolling 1s to hit and wound. So But any questions or thoughts on this?
No.
It's good to me.
Solid.
Yeah, it'd be good to see what the kind of damage output those Skywardens can do.
Once I have completed building all 24 of my Skywardens, I'll let you know how this goes.
They can do damage. The drill launchers alone.
Yeah. I've done it with
8.
6. 8 is pretty insane.
I mean, 8 volley guns.
And 4 of your drill launch, 1 unit every turn for 4 turns effectively, unless you have to use reroll saves on them, are going to be rerolling hits for one of those units of Skywardens. So over the course of 4 turns, they're going to do a lot of shooting.
The volley guns alone, I mean, 8 times 6 shots.
Yeah.
That's
48.
48 dice on a 4, rerolling everything. On a 4, rerolling 1s.
The thing you have to remember is only 1 unit will be rerolling. But...
Well, then reroll 1s on 1 and reroll everything on the other. But it's a lot of...
It's a lot of shooting.
A lot of dice you're throwing around.
Yeah.
But it is 800 points.
Yes. You build your list around it.
800 points, but it is also 40. 48 wounds on a 4-up save that move 12 inches. So it's not bad.
The other thing about them is they're shooting units, but you get to turn 3, 4, 5, depending on how things go. You can charge them in because they still got 4 pikes, so that's 9 attacks.
Yep.
And depends whether you use a gold, they'll still be rerolling 1s to wound. After you've shot lots of stuff, you're finishing things off then rather than trying to kill a full unit. So
I think it's good. I would play this. I think I've put together a similar list with the thought of playing this once or twice, but I usually find something else. I don't play Urbaz as much on TTS just because I play it so much physically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough. We've looked through all the lists. Has anyone got any general thoughts about it? But anything we think we've missed?
I think we're good. We're at that 2-hour mark, so we should be wrapping it up.
Cool. So Carl, you've got your next game straight after this.
I'm probably gonna take a bathroom break first, but
yeah.
Anyone who wants to watch.
Just to be clear, you mean watch the game, not the bathroom break?
Yeah, yes. The game.
Aethercast after dark. You gotta pay extra to get that stuff.
Only
Yeah, join the Patreon.
has anyone got any tournaments coming up other than?
Absolutely nothing.
No,
Not anymore. Not anymore.
no, me neither.
So
I remembered what the other army I played against though. It was Shootcast. Shootcast came in, killed 2 of the 3 squads of Balloon Boys, but then my follow-up, I took out all of the 3 guys who get 10 shots each. Vanguard Raptors,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
God, that's 10 shots. 10 shots each.
Yep.
But yeah, my follow-up kind of killed all the things. He really should have aimed at the ships, I think. Taking out the ships stopped my maneuverability from happening, but
Cool.
Yeah.
How about you, Carl? After this TTS tournament, anything coming up or?
Nothing. I mean, as we get more into lockdown, you know, it's second round of lockdown, so I don't know if we'll be playing physically again for a while. We'll see.
Yeah, unfortunately, and then it's going to be Christmas for a lot of people anyway. So, everyone. So everyone that celebrates Christmas, it's not like it's Christmas in some places and not in others. It's like we're on the same calendar, different time zones, but the days are the same. Although it will be Christmas a day earlier for you, Krohn.
Yep.
Maybe
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Look, Australia is just weird.
Right. Well, thank you very much for watching. Thank you all for joining me and talking about lists. We'll do Mornar or Zilfin soon.
Mornar. Hopefully we can get Tubman for the Mornar.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully. See if he's free. But yeah, if you like the show, hit like. If you like the channel, hit subscribe. And that's it. Cool. Thanks everyone.
Gotcha.
Bye.
See ya.